Okay, so I think what I can do is if I go out here and then I can go over here, I might be able to search this deck. Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
And this is a Board Game Rundown, and today we are going to review Halloween 2 from Trick or Treat Studios. This was sent to us. To be fair, I did ask a lot because I was a big fan of the first Halloween game. Designed by Emerson Matsuuchi. This plays 2 to 4 players. Basically, one player is going to play as Michael Myers, and then up to 3 other players can play as victims. That's what they're called, and you will inevitably become that. So the goal is basically we've got 25 turns to try to find Laurie Strode in the hospital, but not just find her, but find either one of the keys to the yellow or the red ambulance. So the red ambulance, the yellow ambulance, we got to find that. We've got to get her to the ambulance once it's unlocked. And we either need to have a wheelchair or 2 medicine cards to like basically help her move. Yeah. Because
jack her up on some
right,
some
so she can
Let's
walk.
go.
Because this, like the movie, takes place immediately after the events of Halloween 1. So Michael Myers has gone to the hospital. He's trying to find Laurie Strode and kill her. And so, yeah, we're all trying to get her out and escape. So what you're going to do is if you're playing with like just one player versus one player, I would have like 2 characters set up and I would run 2 characters. Now, depending on player count, that's going to determine how many characters Michael Myers needs to kill or run the timeout.
Yep,
right?
run the clock
Those
out.
are the 2 ways he can win.
Yep.
So we've got to, so if in a 2-player game or a 3-player game, it's 4 characters, 4 victims. And then there's also different sides of the board for him depending on player count, like
how much health I get and stuff like that.
Yeah. And dice for attack and things like that. So it's same dice.
Same dice, but more health.
More health. And on your turn, basically what you're going to do is, depending on what character you are, it's going to tell you your starting spot up in the corner. It's going to tell you how much health you have, your hand limit, and then it also
Starting items
gives you like any starting items or special abilities. So all the characters have asymmetric player powers, which is super cool, always great. And then but yeah, you're going to get to basically take 2 actions. You can move up to 4 spaces. You can take an exertion to move an additional space. You can move through a window. You can take an exertion to move 1 space before or after moving through a window. You can search. So if you're on or facing one of these search tokens, you flip it over. If there's only 1 magnifying glass, you take it off the board. And then you're going to draw from one of the decks. Those key item cards that we talked about at the beginning, those are shuffled in and they're in one of the last 4 cards of each deck. So the medicines are generic, so they get in, they could be anywhere, but ambulance key, wheelchair, Laurie. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So you're going to have to get through these decks. You've got to search through these decks.
Some searching.
If a character dies, all their cards go to either the top or the bottom of the deck in the region they are in. And then also you are going to refill those search token spaces. So that helps kind of reseed the board a little bit. Mm-hmm. Another thing you can do is play a card from your hand that says action on it.
As an action.
Some of them will say free action, which just means it's a free action.
Or reaction.
Or a reaction, also true. Mm-hmm. You can also attack. So if you can see Michael Myers and he is in range, you can roll an attack die, depending either, if you don't have any items, it's just 1 die. If you have an item, it's going to tell you what the hit is on that, or how many dice you can roll. The hit is always going to be the knife showing. And you can also trade with victims that are next to you. And you can rest. And if you rest, you have to rest if you have 3 exertion tokens on you. You get to remove all of them. But you can rest just to even remove 1
or 2
if you want. Or 2. So you're going to get to take 2 of those actions. You can take the same action twice. So you can move twice, search twice, and everything. There's doors, there's windows throughout the map. There's all kinds of things that will block line of sight. Because when you end your movement, you must determine your facing. Because if you are not facing a direction where Michael might be standing, you don't see him until he chooses to act. So literally, because the characters, you can put
Kind of
stickers.
silhouette, yeah.
You can put stickers on the front of the stands. I didn't do that, but there's a silhouette on the back side of the standee, and then there's the character on the front.
So it's obvious which way.
So it's very obvious which way you're facing. But if I'm facing this way, there's a door directly behind me. Well, if Michael moves here, I don't see him until he chooses to attack. And if he chooses to attack, well, then he puts his standee down there, and then he's going to roll the attack dice.
Yes.
That'd be a bummer. So, and each character has their specified health. So some have more than others.
Yep.
Things like that. But the thing is so Michael is going to get to a few things on his turn.
Yeah. So on Michael's turn, you're going to take 2 actions. You do the same one twice, same thing. So you can stalk, which is your basic move. You get 5 movement spaces, however you want. And then you can infiltrate, which takes an action to move through a window. And one of the cool things about it is you can pursue. Like if you watch the movies, he's over there, but then if nobody sees where he's at, all of a sudden he's way the heck over there. And so as long as you move in a straight line and nobody can see you, you can move as far as you want. And so it's a good way to kind of like traverse the board and get from one victim to another victim. And then there's of course the attacking. And so you get to attack, you get to roll your 3 dice. If you get hit and get stunned, you'll flip your card over, then you're staggered. You can only move 3 spaces. You roll 1 fewer die when you go to attack, but that's only for 1 action. Then you'll get to flip that back over, and you're back to full strength and ready to go. And then you're going to mark down on your board. So you pick your starting position. You're going to put that in 0. Once you're done taking your turn, you're going to write down the position that you ended in so you know where you're at. And as I played Michael, what I like to do is I would put like a little arrow. So if Tim said he was in L19 facing south, I would go to L19 with my marker, put a little arrow facing down. That way, as I looked and plotted, I could see which way people are facing, and it made it easier to kind of sneak up. You also, if you fill in when you're done with your turn, a space next to one of these little card plus signs, you're going to get to draw one of these fancy dancy cards. A lot of them have a like heal on them, or as a free action do certain things like you can move and gain an extra attack. Kind of saves you, or like re-rolls, things like that. There's a whole bunch of different cards though to choose from as you draw.
Yeah, because that's one of the other things, and I didn't say this earlier, is one of the other ways you can win is you can actually kill Michael Myers in this one.
Kill, but yes.
Yeah. Which we almost did.
You almost did.
Gosh,
it came down to the last couple of die rolls.
So you can kill Michael, like another way to win, which is really crucial when he's able to heal.
Right.
Because
if I hadn't healed, you would have killed me.
We would have had you dead.
Yep.
But yeah, and then if you die, you're going to respawn. You're going to respawn by one of these arrows, right? Like, so there's some
Somebody
over here.
pulling up out of another car, basically.
Yeah, and then there's some paths into the hospital over here, which will allow
from
you.
a different side of the board.
Yeah, but the rules are very straightforward. The rule book is concise.
Yep.
But reading the card explains the card.
Yes.
All the rule. You don't have to play Halloween, the first one, to
play this one,
or understand it. And with a couple of variations, I think that there's room for both.
Yeah.
To be in your collection if you like that kind of thing. Just putting out like some of those thoughts on the game. What were some of the thoughts that you had? You know, that feelings you had while playing this?
So as Michael, I really liked this board better. The other board, I had a hard time getting around. There's the skateboard thing too, which really had to help you guys move around the board a whole lot, and I had a hard time dealing with that as Michael. I love hidden movement games, and I think this does a really good job of like, you know, giving the others things to do, right? But then it's also builds that tension when you don't know where Michael's at. Like I remember playing like the first one, and just like after getting stabbed by Dan in the very first round, I was just constantly like putting my back in a corner, and
terrified.
I was so terrified because he just comes out of nowhere because you're moving around. Tim's like, all right, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, okay, shink.
Yeah.
Or like there was one time when we played it the other day, you went to walk out this door and you're like, all right, I'm gonna move over here, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
I gotta go put that guy right back there. Boop,
yeah, he was right there.
I was right there waiting for him. As soon as he opened the door, I was right there.
I believe you killed that character then, too.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So it adds that tension. Like, I love that.
One of the things that both of them do, but this one does definitely, what I love is because most like hidden movement, 1v many hidden movement games, everybody's pursuing the hidden person.
Sure.
Trying to find them.
Right.
And that's fun, right? Because it's fun to be the mouse, like
right.
sneak it away.
Sneak it
right?
away.
But but when you are the hunted,
Yes.
and it's like literally because he can start. Michael can start in any outside space. So I mean, literally, he could start over here. He could start over in the parking lot.
Yep.
I mean, it is
anywhere
brutal.
Yeah.
It is so brutal.
It's very tense.
And yeah, I really love the tension that this game builds up as you're playing. And because I think initially even we had West was playing with us, and I think he was not loving the line of sight thing, but he was into that game by the end.
By the end,
You know, he was skeptical at first, and I think by the end he was a convert and was having a good time. I was like, okay.
He's over here. Well, if he's over here, I can come over here, and then I can attack him when he does this. And
we're like, okay, well, I mean, but he's got to be there.
Yeah.
So that I love, like, well, you know, anytime we play any of these games, like, I love that plotting and that planning. And again, this game really just ratchets up that tension. Because, you know, early on, it's like, fine, you know, we got a couple of lives and stuff, you know, and oh, well, if you respawn, you can pick one of basically Loomis or the U.S. Marshal, and they will come in with a gun that's loaded. Because normally you got to find a gun and ammo.
Right.
But this game, one of the other cool things this game did was when I was searching a pile, I found a lighter. And on it, it says, well, it does nothing now, but may be useful later. Well, then later on, found an oxygen tank, and you can combine the lighter and the oxygen tank and do a lot of damage. And like roll a lot of dice, you know, like, oh, here we go. So there's some really neat thematic combinations in here. And again, the asymmetrical player powers give you different ways to sort of like lean into your character's abilities. I really have a good time playing both of these games, and this is kind of more of the same, but like a harder map.
Well, it's harder for, I don't know. You said it was harder, but like I like this map more. Like I feel like the other map, like you guys kept going, maybe just because you didn't do as many window dodging. Like the last one, like that last map like that we were playing on, you were just in and out of window. I'm like, Tim's probably gonna go this way and do this, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go way inefficient and go back through the window, go over here. I'm like, why are you doing that? And
because I was able to like
work, clearly not choose the window in front of me.
I was able to kind of mind game that, knowing how you play games, right? So Bob's like, he's gonna look for the efficient ways to go, and it's like, well, it makes sense if he does this. So I go, if I make the move that doesn't make sense,
that's right. Nobody's gonna expect that.
I've got a chance.
You Spanish Inquisition me, and nobody expected that.
I didn't do it the last time with this one, and but yeah, I say the map was harder. I think it's just a different strat, right?
It's a different layout, different doors, different, layout.
And so,
different strats.
And again, though, right, like the hospital, it's so twisty, turny. There's all these doors,
these small rooms.
and small rooms, so many. Because the other one, it's basically like houses.
So
and then there's the street,
mm-hmm.
and so you're zigzagging across, running into the different houses. Again, very thematic, and super cool,
and it pertains to the movie. So
yes, and here, right, you're running through this hospital. And it feels like you're running through a maze that is a hospital, so just very cool, very fun, really thematic. I had a freaking blast with this. This did not disappoint.
Right.
I don't know if we could ever get anybody to do it, but I think it would be really fun to play one and then play two, like back to back. Like,
I'd do that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. I mean, like do it at like a meetup or something and be like, all right, we're going to play Halloween, but we're going to play this one and then this one.
Sure.
Because the rules teach, I mean, you already basically know how to play the game.
Tim?
Yeah.
I have thoughts. We might be able to do this on a Whiskey Wednesday.
Oh, really? Oh, a control board?
Not even like a control board.
You just need that board.
I need this. Yeah, exactly. And then I can just see where you guys are going. You guys control the search decks, and then people could see what I'm doing. And then you guys
that'd be terrifying.
Like, that could be a lot of fun. But we'll work something together.
Might have to figure that out.
We'll workshop it a little
snap.
bit. It could be good.
Oh, snap. That'd be crazy.
But Tim, we should probably give this game a rating.
We should.
How do we do that?
We, here at the Board Game Rundown, rate the games from either 0 to 10, right? Spoiler alert, not getting a 0. Then what we're going to do is we're going to average our ratings together, and that's what you're going to see on the rundown. But we will give it our individual ratings with some thoughts and how we felt about the game. So, Mr. Bob Hooper.
Yes, that's me.
How'd you feel about Halloween, and what do you rate it? Halloween 2.
Halloween 2. Electric Boogaloo. I really enjoyed it. Like I said earlier, it does what the first game did, and I really enjoyed that. But I think it does a little bit better. I think I enjoyed this map more than I did the other one. I definitely feel like it's going to be harder for the victims to win in this one than it was the other one.
Not a bad thing.
But with the alt win con of being able to actually kill Michael,
yeah,
that balances that out a little bit.
I feel like that is
More likely,
levels the playing field a bit.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's going to be an 8.5 for me.
Yeah, I am in lockstep with you. This is an 8.5.
Nice.
100%. This game is badass. It's super fun.
Yeah.
It's very tense.
Yep.
One of the other great things, right, I will just say about this game is, unlike some of the other hidden movement games, I feel like this game is very accessible because the rules overhead is very low.
Yep.
It's very straightforward. You've got great player aids.
Yep.
And it says 60 minutes to play, and we probably played it in under that.
45.
Teaching
I'd say.
West.
Yeah.
And kind of refreshing ourselves a little bit on the rules because it had been a minute since we played the first one, and then just sort of catching up on any of the nuances.
Yeah, and I think they do a good job. Like, we're reading the card, we'll explain the card. Because sometimes you're reading a card, well, can I just do this? But no, it says as in action. So that takes one of your actions to do a thing. So it makes it really easy to understand how things work.
And I also want to say, normally I am a guy that likes the blinged out games with minis and everything like that. But here, the board, first of all, the board looks amazing, and it's got that spot finish for all the locations, so you can see those numbers.
The lettering from where you're at. If there's a little bit of a glare, I can still read it.
Yeah, well, it pops on the glare, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is the standees makes it feel like it's a game from the time period of when the movie was playing.
Yeah.
And
they're super functional with them.
Yeah, and then they're very functional. So to me, that I feel like that's a feature, not a bug.
Sure. Almost a nostalgia thing.
I would like to find out if that was intentional, but it feels more thematic this way because I feel like if a game company had the guts to make a game like this in 1982 or whatever, that might be that would be how it was made. But yeah, this game was a blast. It was a great time.
So our score average together, pretty easy, 8.5.
8.5. Yeah, it's just damn good.
Yeah.
It's really good. So if you were on the fence about Halloween 2. If you already have Halloween 2. Just saying.
Yep.
If you want to play a fun hidden movement game, 1v many, this is also a great entry level one.
Sure.
Because there's some really good ones out there, also designed by Emerson Matsuuchi, to be honest. And
I was saying, I talk about hidden movement games a lot, and to me, this is quintessential hidden movement type of stuff. When I say hidden movement, this is what I expect from a hidden movement game.
Yeah, well, and I think it's fair to point out that because we love hidden movement games so much, there's kind of a high bar.
Yeah.
So for us to be excited about, because there's definitely some that I like more and you don't like, and vice versa.
Exactly.
And so for both of us to kind of come in and go, nope, it's great.
This is it. Yeah.
Really good. So great job. Yeah. And like I said before, this was sent to us, but I begged for it because I really liked the first Halloween a lot.
Yeah.
So they provided the copy of the game, and this is going to get played a lot.
After reviewing that first one, I went out and bought it for myself too.
See, that's what happens, man. It's good stuff.
Yep.
All right, well, I don't have anything else to add. How about you?
Nope.
All right, guys. Well, for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
Look behind you.